Why is it when my son asks me if the trash has been taken out that Chris Nanos picture pops up? No, not really. But it feels that way. And right now, today, I'm back, and we're going to be doing something here that I think, I want to look into this, definitely for sure. It is now past 6 months when Nancy first went missing. It's ridiculous. And we're going to get into the big book of Bull. And now we are, we're halfway past, look at this, halfway past, and it's primarily, with an exception of a couple of subjects, primarily all Nancy. So today, this is about Nancy Guthrie. And I'm sure all of you saw my rant. Maybe you didn't. And that was on at the Still Case, if you want to go over there and see me ranting about the latest post from Savannah Guthrie on Facebook, calling out those making everyone feel that, how dare we, because we might make a dime or two. Grifting, that's one word she used. I take offense to all of that. Not so much for me, but for all of the people who have done everything that they can to raise awareness for Nancy Guthrie. Okay, not going to get started on that. But today, my darlings, this is about Nanos and a couple of readings that I've done over the weekend. And that is this. I'm going to get the cards out here. And I think this is getting to the point where I'm just not so sure that we're going to see the right. I have to phrase this correctly. I'm not so sure we're going to see the correct person be prosecuted for this crime. I'm going to say it that way. I think since this is a stage, they may have a stand-in for prosecution. I've said it before. I feel it's coming. The sheriff is taking too much heat. And these things happen. And they've happened in some most recent cases, in my opinion. But I believe now, because you see, the family is pretty upset because he says that no one is released, meaning, and I say released for a reason, but no one is considered to be released from being a suspect. Now, I'm also going to say this gentleman, Carlos, that was detained in the beginning, close to the Mexican border. They broke down the door of his house. They detained him for a long time. They held his phone. They took his DNA. And supposedly, allegedly, he was cleared. But the sheriff won't come out and say that he is cleared. Now, why is Nanos saying in the beginning that, that person was cleared? Because I believe it is from pressure from the family. But this gentleman, Carlos, now has an attorney he has hired. And this attorney is not putting up with it. And he plans to sue Pima County. And the sheriff, most likely individual. And probably those deputies, most likely individually, but most likely that is what his plan is, that he has announced. I don't know what Nanos is doing. I don't know what he's up to. But listen, when I found that there were some people who were passing away in the jail at staggering rates compared to countrywide, the first thing that I went on to find if there were any resemblances from February until this date that would fit a description of the porch guy. As in, could the porch guy have been already detained and then for some circumstances, oddly enough, sort of kind of maybe passed away in the Pima County Jail? I didn't see anything, and I'm not accusing anything of anybody, but I think it's time for us to cross the T's and dot the I's. It's to that point. Yeah, does it feel like I'm fed up with these people? It does, because you know what? Who is looking for Nancy? Now, I want you to know, I don't feel like I have playing a big part in this, except that I want to keep her situation in front of everyone. Those people who are boots on the ground, who are out there, who are visiting, interviewing other people, that the Pima County Sheriff's Department is not. Now listen, not all of those deputies are that way. They have to do their job, and they're being ordered to do their job. And I get that. But now comes the time when I think the pressure is on. And we're seeing all of these different unnecessary posts from Savannah Guthrie. Where is Annie and Tommaso? Where's Cameron? And it almost does you know that post, if I would have been a different person, that would have almost made me feel guilty about looking for their mom. But I want to point something out to you. You know, the day that Savannah and Annie and Tommaso did this, I'd like to think that it was a perp walk, but it's not. They walked down this driveway to this memorial right there in front of Nancy's house. Now, I know that you all remember because you watched it. Beautiful arrangements of flowers, beautiful cards, beautiful, just such an outpouring of love and sentiment, and all these wonderful gestures from all over the world. While we were watching some of these people, there were florists pulling up and putting arrangements out there in the front yard, all yellow ribbon, bring her home. And yet those three, either the Three Stooges or Three Musketeers, I haven't figured it out yet, come down the driveway. And yes, I'm saying that because I'm a little put out about this thing, because where are the bulletin boards? There are none in this particular county. Where is the gesture of them finding their mother? So my question now, they come down this driveway, they're holding what? One flower? A cut flower. So you know in that heat, it's not going to last long, maybe a day, a few hours. And a card that you wonder, has someone been released from somewhere and then they wrote a card? You know what I'm talking about. What is that? And yet, you can't turn around after seeing the outpour of love. You cannot turn around and at least say, thank you. Just mouth, thank you. You ignore all of those people there, all of the people watching nationwide. You ignore everyone and anything. Basically, you said, let them eat cake. In my opinion, this is something done from the high and mighty. It's unbelievable to me that this post from Savannah, and yes, I'm going to talk about Nanos in a minute, but this post from Savannah pretty much said that if anybody was making money off of this, and I'm going to stop it right there. Stop it right there. NBC should be included into that, because wasn't it NBC that flew the Nancy Guthrie from Tucson, Arizona to New York to be on TV? And wasn't it Savannah that was really worried about her being out on a leave after Nancy was taken, and that was supposedly, allegedly concerned about the ratings, and concerned would somebody step in and take her place, and concerned because the ratings had gone down. So you can't tell me that NBC had not grifted, as you would like to say, on that, as well as yourself. Now let's get out the cards, because I've got some questions about a stand-in, and I think this is maybe where it is heading. Stay with me. And sorry about the rant. That seems like what I'm doing these days. I am ranting, but let's remember this. No one has been cleared. I like to call it released, but no one has been cleared is what he said. Carlos now has an attorney. Pima County is on the hot seat, but who is looking for Nancy is the big question these days. I'll be right back. I certainly don't feel that I'm saying anything that anyone else hasn't thought about. And this is no shade on the family. This is horrific. But what's going on behind the scenes? And you know, to me, an attitude of gratitude can go a very, very long way. Up on the table here, we have the House of Zelda cards. We have the cartomancy that I love, and then we have my grandma's gypsy witch. This, we're just going to pull out some cards, and I want to see exactly where the energy is taking us. My first question is, will there be a stand-in? Will there be a replacement? Will there be someone be put in the arrested for a crime, and yet it will feel as though they didn't do it? Are they going to replace the perp? That's where I'm getting. Are they going to replace the perp for someone else? Well, what does that show you? There's definitely a plan. And you know, these plans, listen, this has happened from the dawn of time. Deals are made behind the scenes. I mean, listen, if one of the families of a person, if somebody, let's just say, wasn't doing very well, look, you get 3 squares a day, your meals, you watch TV, got a safe place to, well, relatively safe to sleep, get your laundry done, and your family may get a little compensation. I'm not saying that that's true, but I'm just sharing with you what something like that looks like, okay, so you understand? Well, that answer is yes. So the answer is yes. That's the yes card. The 9 of Hearts is the yes card. We're gonna do it this way this time so everybody can see. All right, that's the yes card. So I believe that's the plan, my darlings, and you see how that came out. Will this be happening sooner? Tell us more. Tell us more about this so we can understand exactly what is happening. Because I still feel there are 3 people with a possible 4th one at arm's length. Ooh. This scythe. Do they have the unaliving penalty in Arizona? You know. You know what I mean. I'm not going to say it. It's a D word. But this is all about communication right here. And the tens, just like in the tarot, are the end of that particular, before you get into the royals, okay? It's where it's like the end of a particular situation. This is communication. So it seems as though they may wait a little bit longer. I think this is definitely going to happen maybe before October, through the month of October. But this scythe is basically, I mean, look, this can be the Grim Reaper, right? He carries a scythe. But there's also the wheat. And sometimes you have to separate the wheat from the chaff. You know what I'm talking about. And in this particular place right here, this shows that so far this is such a disappointment because it looks so bad. Look, here's the problem. Here's the thing. The sheriff is a political figure. When you run for sheriff, and look, it happens everywhere, right? Okay, I'm not just saying, but I'm just saying at this, we're talking this person. He is a political figure. He doesn't want to look bad. And by the way, there are many people now that are emailing the Arizona AG basically saying, will you please look at the perjury indictment for Nanos. Those emails are bouncing back. So at this point, I'm wondering if that is on purpose, because they've gotten thousands. I just want you to know. They've gotten thousands. But now some people's are bouncing back. So I'm wondering, do they not have that now to where you can email? That's okay. So look for in October something happening where a person may be a replacement. That's what I'm going to say. A replacement for the porch guy. Contact coming to you. Well, it's not coming to you. It's not coming to me. This means contact is going to be coming for the next flavor of the week. Do you see how they've always done this? Oh, this is happening. Oh, well, then they had Wi-Fi jammers, and they had this, and then they had this, and there's DNA. Well, let me tell you something. We all knew that DNA was going to be a nothing burger. We all knew it. It was just to bide time. Bide time. And it looks like the Guthrie family is pushing the narrative because they're mad at Nanos for saying that no one is, there's everybody's a suspect. They don't like that because Nanos changed his tune. And they don't like that. But I got a question for you. Of all these people, why did they take Annie and Tommaso's car into evidence? Or, well, not evidence. I misspoke. Why did they take Annie and Tommaso's car and keep it for a little while looking for things? You don't do that if you don't think that somebody is more than a suspect, right? Oh, yeah. Let me pull out this card and we'll because this is getting good, my darlings. This is getting good. Okay. So now, this Four of Hearts, you know me enough to know. Well, this four, that's when you're sitting on the fence. Things aren't going very well, but look, this is an emotional card, but it says that you're just not so happy with a certain situation, and this is hurt. It's basically you're now bitter and resentful, and this is all based on what has happened over the past 6 months that affects the present. That is just exactly what I was saying about the Guthrie family. They are not happy. Yeah, we got confirmation from Bilbo there, didn't we? No, that was Riley. I had to look. He's got such a deep voice these days. I don't know. All right, so here we are now with the house. We just talked about coming down the driveway of the house, and I'm just going to say this. You can say I'm wackadoodle over this, but that house is not happy because of the energy that was left behind. When you leave bad, negative, upsetting energy in a home, that home has nothing to do with that energy but to loop it. So this whole situation, this enactment or reenactment, has been going over and over and over again. Why do you think the lights kind of flash on and off here and there? There's a lot of energy there. A lot. This is supposed to be a home filled with happiness and future, but this Six of Hearts tells me that it is a sacrifice. We'll leave it that way. It was a sacrifice under a full moon. Look, I wonder what this card is going to be. Well, we won't know until we turn it over, Zelda. The universe knows the truth, absolutely, definitely. Do we feel that the truth is going to be coming out? That's interesting because that connects with the house. And this is all about a new beginning in a house. I'm wondering, I'm going to tell you what, October, I believe there's going to be something going on with the house of Nancy Guthrie. Whether someone is going to be moving in, I do not believe that they'll rent it, but as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't want to touch it. I still feel that there's a lot of evidence there. I believe just as many do. They never took the front door mats. There's still time. They can still take those mats. The mats, I say at the front door, but one is at the front door and then one was at the garage, coming into the garage door. You've all seen it. Look, I just mentioned the moon. The Five of Hearts is a card of indecisiveness, but making decisions based on the plan that was made. So do I feel that someone, this is kind of telling us what's going on. Someone, I do believe, will be put in place. They're all of a sudden they're going to announce this, because this is a big, huge disappointment. And frankly, I'm just going to say, I believe that area, the state of Arizona, will be all for making sure someone is prosecuted. Whether they did the crime or not, I don't know. But I sort of kind of have that feeling. And everybody's going to jump on that wagon. This is going to be something, and you've heard it first here, my darlings. I just don't feel that's going to be something. But I'm going to say this. With this card being out here the way that it is and close to the house, it's all about this moon will expose secrets by the light of the silvery moon. This will expose what is going on. Kind of amazing. Not kind of. It is amazing. Travel. So I still am convinced that Nancy was taken 12 hours away. And you can check that on the one ransom note. Someone needs to travel to that particular area and see. Will you find anything now? Well, it's been 6 months. It's going to be kind of hard. And look at all the 10s. And we have now a repeat of this 10. We have this 10 of diamonds right here. Now we have this. This is, oh man. This is a card that basically says change is needed. New change. And can even mean a new situation at work, at Pima County. This is amazing. And meaning change of jobs. This is someone who is restless right here. So it's change. Now, do I feel that Nanos will be indicted for perjury? I can tell you truthfully. Look at that. Another 4 confirmation. I do not believe he will be. Because they're going to protect their own. Why? Well, maybe Nanos knows something. Did you ever think about that? Go back to February of 2024, where they were busing people in. And don't put any of that in the comments, please, but they were busing people in and taking them to certain hotels. And the sheriff knew about it, and the deputies were there allowing it to come in. So what does that tell you? Different regimes, different ideas, and they all protect their own. So do I think that that's going to happen? No. If they felt that they needed to do this based upon the law and what was right, the answer would be yes. He would have already been indicted by now. I believe this is also going to drag out. And what they're going to most likely do, my friends, is they're going to bring someone to the forefront that they can stick in there to have prosecuted for this crime. So this other stuff about Nanos kind of falls to the wayside, and we all kind of sort of forget, because after all, Nanos will then be the man of the hour, and he will serve his term until 2028. This fish here basically tells us of a pending failure and disaster with Nanos. Now, do I believe that Nanos has... Well, I can't say that. I can't say it here. But what I will tell you here, my darlings, is you see this 4 and this 4. We've got confirmations now here happening. This fish is an emblem of riches. I'm going to leave it that way. I'm just going to say that is an emblem of riches. But it's also, because look, it's no secret that there was some stuff going on there with money that was collected and rerouted through certain avenues. Wisdom is needed. I think going forward, now comes the time when you have to sit back and take a breath and now be a watchman. Now be a watchman and hope and pray that somebody steps in, because there will be a couple that will be held responsible for this. Now, I think that they're going to slide somebody in there and it's going to be a big deal. Do I believe that there's a particular couple that will remain A-okay and walk from this? Yes, I do. But listen, this card and the 7 of spades, this card indicates that dark clouds are coming. Dark clouds are coming for this situation. And it will be, if someone does that and they replace the someone who actually committed this crime, or a couple that committed this crime, with someone else. I think also that they're waiting for September for Derek Kalela, I think is his last name. Forgive me if I've pronounced that wrong, to see what's going on for him. I mean, after all, let's think, is Nanos out of the loop? Absolutely he is, because he thought Derek got 10 years. So what does that tell you? I'm going to bring in the Piotnik deck real quick for us, my darlings. Well, that card wanted to come out, didn't he? Let's see. A baby. Well, of course there's not a baby, but there is a brand new beginning, and it is marriage. So someone, when that happens, okay, someone is making a commitment. Someone is making a deal with a particular sweetheart. And don't put it past anyone. Do me a favor, like and subscribe, my darlings. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again very soon. Join me tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Help, I'm haunted. We're going to be telling some great stories. In the meantime, be a watchman.